if anyone in this bill is grandfathered in through you, Madam Speaker?
Representative Leeper.
Through you, Madam Speaker, was the question who's grandfathered in? Thank you. Anybody who's currently homeschooling, this would not apply to them. It only will begin, these processes will only begin again with any public school student exiting in the school year 2027-28. They'd have to submit that withdrawal form, and then annually thereafter, the intent to educate form. Those are the only subset of the population who ever have the DCF cross-check, only students exiting from public school. For families who only ever intend to educate their child through parent-managed learning in the fall of 28, they would start to fill out for any kid who would otherwise be enrolling in kindergarten, the intent to educate form, and then annually thereafter. So the subsequent year, you'd have first graders, you'd have kindergartners, and you'd have any students who had exited the year before doing their intent to educate form, and any students who would exit in that year. And then the population would grow annually from there forward. So in theory, it would be 13 years before we knew how many students were receiving instruction through parent-managed learning in the state of Connecticut. Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Zupkus.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So just so I understand, 27 is the withdrawal form, and is that for any child in any grade? Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Leeper.
Through you, Madam Speaker, yes. Any child exiting from public school would fill out that form. The parent or guardian would fill out that form. Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Zupkus.
Thank you. And in 28, is it just kindergartners that have to, 5-year-olds, or 6 option, or 5, 6, 7 intent to educate forms? In 2028, is it just that kindergarten, or if my child is in 8th grade, I have to do that form? Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Leeper.
Through you, Madam Speaker, that's correct. And I want to add the caveat, I think for any student moving into the state for the first time who would be receiving instruction through parent-managed learning would also fall in that category to then begin, because we have that 14-day period, and that begins as of July 1, 2028. Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Zupkus.
Thank you. So in 27 or 28, no matter where you are in the system, what grade you're in, you will have to do that. Through you, Madam Speaker, is that correct?
Representative Leeper.
Through you, Madam Speaker, I want to just make sure anybody exiting from public school after 27 would have to do the form. As of 28, it's only the people who had exited the prior year and anyone who would be enrolling in kindergarten or moving into the state for the first time. And then thereafter, it will grow with that first cohort, if that is a helpful way to think of it. Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Zupkus.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Madam Speaker. So just so I'm clear, in 27, no matter what grade you're in, if you withdraw your child, you have to, no matter what grade you're in, you would have to fill out a withdrawal form if you're withdrawing your child. In 28, when you are only entering kindergarten, or moving into the state, do you fill out an intent to educate form? So if my child is in 8th grade in 2028, I do not have to fill out an intent to educate form. Is that correct? Through you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Leeper.
Through you, Madam Speaker, that's correct.
Representative Zupkus.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you for clarifying that. You know, I'm just going to end. I guess I'm really disappointed because I really wanted a bill to keep every child safe in this state, no matter where you are. And I know some of us in this room share a district where a 6th grader hung herself due to bullying. We've had many incidents in our own public schools, and we all want to make sure every child is safe without a doubt. There's no silver bullet to ensure what these evil people did in these few cases to their children. I don't see how this is going to keep all of our children safe. Again, it is only one group of people that we are focused on in this bill. The other side of that is, and how I see this bill, unfortunately, is just trying to regulate homeschooling. And I say that because in this bill, it talks about being an approved State Department of Education entity. So now we know that public schools are approved, obviously, by the State Department of Education. Private schools are approved by the State Department of Education. Some outplacements are and are not, but they're considered non-public schools. And now, with changing really the verbiage of homeschooling to parent-managed learning, is that approved by the State Department of Education? I would say yes, by the definition and what is in this bill. And when we look at entities that are approved by the State Department of Education, they have a lot of say on what happens in those entities. And that's what I'm afraid of that will happen. And so I appreciate the good chair's time spent here. I am disappointed that we're not protecting every child or looking to do something to protect every child and just focused on homeschooling. So thank you, Madam Speaker. I apologize for calling you Madam Chair quite a few times, and I will continue to listen to the debate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Ranking Member. The chair would like to recognize